Hello, I'm Dustin Meehan, Into Your Head's original professional voiceover guy, and frankly, the best. I've been on TV, you know. It kind of makes me wonder why I'm paid in cat food.
You join me at a tremendously exciting moment. It's Into Your Head, number 601 for Monday. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of everywhere. Topics coming out of the recycling bin. Although they may well stay back in there. Although they may well come out. Although they may well come back in there. They may well fall out. Who's to say? Segments that I've previously recorded have been consigned this morning to the recycling bin, where presumably they're dealt with in an environmentally friendly manner. But no, the sound quality was too corrupt for my liking, so you'll never hear my special version of the parable of the Jesus as loaves of the fishes, made up on the fly. Wasn't all that great anyway, so it's no great loss as far as I'm concerned. You're allowed to waste stuff if it's in the interests of the improvement of the overall thing. It's for the greater good of humanity that I flushed my special loaves. There's already a loaves and fishes parody in existence anyway. You can find it in all versions of the Bible. It's basically a thing where Jesus goes along to a meeting. He's about to give a conference all about being the Son of God, and they discover, there's 8,000 people here, and the caterers have only bought 2 fishes and 1 loaf of bread. What are we going to do? Jesus conquered up some of his Jesusical magic and somehow managed to feed them all, and then they sat down happily stuffed with food and they listened to his little speech about who he was. That's basically how humanity was born. That's how Jesusness was born. I've never done any catering courses, but I assume they always start with that little thing as a cute little introduction. They'll say, if the Lord God, Jesus Christ, Son of God, could cater to the masses like that, then we sure as hell can do, because you can be sure we'll have access to enough loaves. If we work for any kind of a decent employer, we'll have access to loaves, or access to the means to make them fresh, which would be even better, I suppose. You can get little half-made loaves now in the shop. They come wrapped in cellophane, and you stick them in the oven for the 10 minutes to finish them off, and then you've got fresh bread, as fresh as be damned. So what's the problem? I don't know. I never said there was one. Did you say there was a problem? Because I certainly didn't. Well, I did say there was a problem with the previous recording session today, which reminds me, before I go any further, I should listen back to this one and see if the quality is up to my standards. So bear with me while I do that. I'll probably go for a piss as well. Make some coffee. See if my wife wants some coffee while I'm at it. Then we'll carry on with this recording and consider this an introduction to Monday's number 601, 3 times a week episode of Into Your Head podcast radio. Hello.
What do you call a man with a caffeine addiction, 8 cats, a podcast, and a very understanding wife? You call him Neil, and you can find him at intoyourhead.com.
Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, I wonder what he's going to do today that's any different from any other day, so that he can at least tell the days apart in his mind using some system, a labelling system that's been built into our minds since time immemorial. People think we need labels for things and we need to put dates on things. We do not. Our very soul contains a labelling system based on the positions of the sun and our memories of the position of the sun. I could tell you exactly when today's show was recorded without even looking at it. I just look at how worn out I'd have to put on the tape, I suppose. But I could tell you how worn the tape was out at a certain angle, and I could tell you as that was moving just past the head, the sun was shining on an angle of 73 degrees, and therefore it was approximately 10:39 a.m. Unfortunately today it's overcast. But that that's where you meet your downfall. That's why we don't find ancient civilizations every time we dig to bury a house here in Ireland. There's no sun in existence. The dust from a different sun will cloud down on everyone, and your 7 worlds collide whenever I'm by your side. That's the song. I think I might have got the lyrics the wrong way around, but he's definitely got the words right. Your 7 worlds collide whenever. It was either by an Australian band or an Irish band or someone in between, and it was on the radio in the 90s every 5 minutes, and frankly I'm sick to death of it. You might as well have she found the whole of the moon, you saw the summit, I saw the whole of the moon, you saw the comet. Oh no, comet, it was comets it was. You saw the comet, I saw the whole of the moon. The whole of the moon. Not that there's much variation between the different parts of the moon. The moon is pretty much all the same. There's a white bit up the top, there's a white bit down at the bottom. We get all concerned over how much we see of it. We say, oh, we only saw 3/4 of the moon today. I want to see the whole thing. Well, why can't you just frigging extrapolate? 3/4 of the moon looks like that, so you can extrapolate that the other quarter looks a bit much like that, except turn it around, slice a bit off the top and rotate it and put it on to the missing bit at the bottom, and there you have a full moon by extrapolation. That's the way all these things are done anyway. You don't think that those pictures they make of the sun are real? No. You can't look a gift sun in the eye because it's dangerous. Just like with a gift horse's mouth. If someone ever gave you a gift that was just a horse with no mouth, what would you do then? I don't know. Horse with no... I tell you, I'd be insulted. Someone came along to me and said, here, I got you a present. Look at this. It's a horse. I got it from the abandoned horses home. It's in perfect condition. It's just had mouthful cancer a few years ago, and I had to have his entire face removed, but it works fine. It's capable of ringing races. It's a very friendly horse. You inject its food down its neck every now and then. No problems at all. There's not much extra maintenance involved. In fact, you don't even need to have it graze, so it's quite simple to look after. It's just that you won't be able to look its gift horse in the mouth, because it's not physically possible. It doesn't have a mouth. I think what I'd do then in that case would be to punch the donator in the mouth. But then I suppose I'd probably regret that after a couple of hours of thinking. But by then, the bridges would have been burned. It'd be too late to do anything about it. So I think we should decide some of these things in advance, even if they might never happen to us. We should decide now what's going to happen if someone ever offers us a gift of a horse that has no mouth, and see what happens. In fact, I'm going to put it in the title here. Gifting mouthless horse. There we go. I don't like to give too much out in the title, but gifting a mouthless horse just tells you that we discussed that topic. It doesn't give away what our conclusion is on it, because I don't think we've even come to any conclusion yet, have we? It's highly likely that by the end of the show you won't even have come to a conclusion. So that's all fine. We can get on with the show while we ponder about what we do if someone gave us a mouthless horse.
Into your head.
Monkey nuts. That's what they called them. They called them big, steaming, dolloping piles of monkey nuts. They called them, some countries. It's not always the same. We don't all tar the same. monkey nut with the same brush. If that was the case, then that would be a very serious matter, because if we could all use the same brush to tar the same monkey nut, that would mean all of these civilizations, the civilizations, for example, who welcome the monkey nut, perhaps in Southeast Asia or somewhere, and the same civilizations up in Canada who hate and spurn the monkey nut, and the civilizations up in the North Pole who consider the monkey nut to be a possible yeti, because they've never been close enough to reach it. If they were all able to tar the monkey nut with the same brush, that would mean the monkey nut would have to be the size of at least half the globe, therefore a terrifying structure, unless of course they each have their own tar and tarring handle, but that's unlikely. If they're passing the tarring handle around, they're saying, oh, we'll let the Canadians have a go at this next, we'll take shifts, so we'll throw the tarring handle over the husk of the back of the monkey nut, and it'll arrive down in Canada, because we're good at throwing this, and it'll land at the Canadian guard's legs, and he'll tar the back of the monkey nut for 8 hours or so, and then we'll lob it over, just slightly left over the monkey nut's back. I think I've got this analogy all wrong. I was thinking of it as a giant monster. But if that was the case, then we'd also have the issue of sunlight. We'd have to encourage this huge earth-shaped monster to move around every few hours so that we could each get our life-affirming allocation of sunlight onto our respective parts of the world. Christ, that would be a huge thing to manage. Imagine the frigging logistics of that. So no, I can see why a big steaming, huge, dolloping pound of monkey nut might conjure up horror for some of you, but that's possibly because you've been watching too many movies. You're probably students who have the summer off now, and you stay up half the night watching these crappy horror movies all the time, and there's all these huge monsters roaming the earth. Well, no, when I talk about monkey nuts, I'm talking about something far less innocent and far less encroaching, so keep your hair on. This is a grown-up adult podcast. We talk about serious matters, such as in death, such as, for example, as we have for the last year or so, the impact of the humble monkey nut, or peanut as some of you may know it, on our society and on other societies. So just relax there, calm down a minute. This is less of a late night horror movie than a sober current and news and current affairs discussion programme, the type that you might hear at 11 o'clock at night on BBC Radio 4 for half an hour. So are you okay now? Relax now. Take your fucking chill pill. You probably aren't old enough to be listening to this. Go back to your freaking horror movie. Although, if we're honest, that horror movie is probably marked 18s plus, so you shouldn't be watching that either. At least I'm not responsible for that, so that's not my responsibility. This show is clearly marked explicit, using every electronic system possible. If you look in the iTunes stores, I think you'll find every single episode of Into Your Head is marked explicit. Everywhere that can be marked not suitable for children, it's marked unsuitable for children, I can tell you. And if you don't heed that, then it's highly likely that you're a child and you shouldn't be listening to this. So get out, and let us adults deal with the monkey nuts. Okay, where were we? Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They call them big steaming piles of monkey nuts with big hairs growing out of them, big scary looking hairs, big huge mouths, a big shit-eating grin on them. I wonder if you have a shit-eating grin, you'd also need to have an arse. There's a question for you. Do you not just vomit it up if that's the case? Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you have a bit of self-respect that they don't want to be doing doing that, either seen or unseen. But since none of us has ever seen a monkey nut with a shit-eating grin, I'm sure they can manage to do it in private if they want. Of course, a shit-eating grin. That's a topic I've seen used in the likes of Stephen King books. It wasn't even in a horror segment. They'll say, "Oh, that fella had a big shit-eating grin on them," and it wasn't considered anything particularly disgusting even. Or it's just a fella who was particularly good at grinning, or he had something that he was particularly amused at. So it's all about language, really. Languages and sandwiches. That's the trust of our lives today. It's all down to languages and sandwiches. We're back to the whole loaves and fishes thing, really, aren't we? One fella's not enough loaves and fishes to feed this crowd. Could be another fella's in other languages far more than enough food to fill this crowd, if you deal with it properly. But of course you can't. Translating a sandwich into another language does not make it any more filling, as far as I'm aware. Although who am I to say? I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know everything about everything. That's why we read books, to advance ourselves and learn more. So maybe I'll go back to that Stephen King book and I'll learn a little more than I know today, and you learn a little more than you know today by certainly by not listening to this, because you're underage. Are you still here? Please leave immediately. Fly away, go off to your frigging, wherever it is you go to. Where are we? 6 minutes and 50 seconds into this segment. That means we're about halfway through the show. That's absolutely fucking fantastic, because it's time to commercialise this. Do you use Amazon? Because I do. But this advertisement isn't much use to me, because I can't profit from my own affiliate links. That's against the rules. But you can. You can, every time you want to buy anything on Amazon, go to intoyourhead.com. Right up the top, you'll see my Amazon links. One for Amazon.com in America, one for the Canadian one for Amazon UK. Just click through any of those links and then search Amazon your normal way for whatever it is you're looking for and buy it, and I get a generous commission, and it doesn't cost you a cent extra, and that's how you pay for this show. Isn't it absolutely fucking fantastic? Couldn't be better. If you don't believe if it's against your religion to shop on Amazon or anywhere else, you're not allowed to shop on Sundays or wherever, just go to the tip jar, intoyourhead.com/tip jar, as a number of people have done recently. Thank you very much. Intoyourhead.com/tip jar is where you just say, I give up. I've no interest in shopping on Amazon. I just want to hand over everything I have to you and follow in your footsteps, because you're clearly a very wise man. Anyway, on with the show.
Hi, this is Chad from the OnSug Network, and when I travel virtually in the computer, I go into your head. Now boarding, into your head.
I've just put the ketchup on the last burrito.
Two cats walk into a bar. One of the cats straight away goes straight up to the bar. Not as the crow flies. He goes properly straight, because crows don't fly as straight as all as you people seem to think they do. They do not. There's a whole curvature of the earth factor involved here, but what these people don't forget as well is that there's the straightness of the floor that we build on top of the earth involved too, and the straightness of that bar floor completely ignores the curvature of the earth underneath it. So if you were to fly directly in line with that bar floor, which is dead straight, that would be the nearest you could get to outbeating a crow, because the crow, of course, you'll start at some tree somewhere and you'll be aiming for the bar, presumably the top outer corner of the bar counter would be a fair finishing point. But of course you have a head start because you're starting at the door handle at the door, which is probably almost level with the bar. So I suppose in a way it's not really a fair race. I don't know what do crows take any notice of the curvature of the earth, or does that only come into play when they're doing a round the world race? In which case it wouldn't seem to matter. If I'm doing a round the world race, let's say I'm going to go around the world as the crow flies in a boat. Then you better be damn sure as hell that you go during flood season, because you want the water level everywhere along your circuitous world equatorizing route to have been flooded high up enough for you to be wait a minute. I suppose. If you want to go in line with the curvature of I suppose you could go snorkel, go diving, going an underground submarine. I suppose that would be the way to do it. But then you'd find that there's all sorts of mountains and valleys in the along the curvature of the earth, and it's not just a perfect snooker ball like you might think it is. Although maybe if you gone as far enough to be qualified to be in a submarine, you maybe I'm underestimating you, and you know that there's more to it than that, and you have it all figured out. You have it all figured out in your fancy little notebook in your computer program. We'll see where that gets you when you're trying to get a bar counter before a crow, because if the crow gets there first, I can tell you, and you have a standard well-trained polite barman, he's going to serve the crow first. He'll say, "Hello, crow, what would you like? On the menu today we have all the usual wines and beers and spirits. We're also doing chicken and chips." That probably wouldn't really be down your street, would it? I don't know, because I remember back once I sat in Boston Common, beside the well-known Boston Common in Boston, Massachusetts. We had a picnic with me that I'd assembled in the local supermarket, and I had boiled egg, had some bread, had some salad, and I accidentally spilled some boiled bread on the floor, and some local birds, seagulls or wherever they were, came along and started eating some of it. I had to turn the head my other way, because as far as I was concerned, that was the closest you can get to seeing cannibalism. As close as you're going to get in the middle of Boston anyway, in the mid-1990s. I presume Boston, like everywhere else, has changed since then in the intervening decades. Maybe they're all eating each other's heads off at lunchtime now there, I don't know. But that's all I needed to know about Bostonian seagulls, I can tell you. It wasn't even at the sea, although I suppose in a way there was a sea within 3 or 4 miles of there, and there was a river not too far away as well, and there was a huge artificial pond there. Not too far away was the fictional location of the outdoor shots from the situation comedy Cheers, which is long gone as well, same as that bird there. I bet you that bird that caught my egg is long gone as well too. But that's not the point. We're getting carried away in science and memories of holidays to America now. Anyway, the cat goes up to the bar as the crow flies, except he doesn't really. It's just an expression. It's just all I meant to say. I didn't mean to start a scientific debate. All I meant to say is that this cat goes straight up to the bar as the crow flies, meaning in a straight line. We don't need to go comparing him to any crow. We don't need a crow in here for comparison. I'm just saying he went in a straight fucking line. It's about bog standard, simple 2 cats walk into a bar story. Will you please relax? It's just a frigging nonsensical, humorous podcast to get you through your Monday morning commute. Take it. If you're this worked up, I can tell you, 20 minutes into your Monday morning commute, I highly recommend you go up to the next roundabout, go around it and turn back and go home and phone in sick, because quite frankly you are sick. If you're this worked up before you even get to work, although maybe you do a very important job, do you? You're probably work in some lab where you Oh, you compare the amount of cannibalism that's going on between birds and parks, which is apparently taking a big steep uprise since around 1990. Is that what you do? Well, if that's the case, you're probably doing it in Boston, which is a perfectly adequate local public transport system. So you certainly don't need to be driving. So get out. Leave your car behind, go into fucking Kendleston or Square, Kenmare Square, wherever it was, and get the green line from there. And then you switch over, if I remember rightly, you switch over just under Filings, and then you can get yourself a train that goes right up to Boston Common. You can go straight into the park and pretend you've never seen the big city at all. There'll be a fella there standing to sell you a coffee, don't worry. And then you can pretend you work on some countryside, peaceful, out-of-the-way place that has no problems at all except for the seagulls eating each other for some reason. That'll make your life a bit better. I'm all about making my listeners' lives better. What else will I be? This is an entertainment program. If I don't use it to try to improve the lives of my listeners, then why am I here? I don't know. Anyway, the cat goes straight up to the bar and he says, "Hello, do you sell fresh lemonade?" I like fresh lemonade. I usually get one when I'm eating raw boiled eggs from some unknown animal out on the green there. There's usually a fella going by with a cart and he's selling fresh lemonade. And the barman says, "I don't have fresh lemonade, but I have this bottled stuff and it says freshly bottled, so I suppose that's as close as you're going to get to it here." And the cat says, "Thank you very much, I'll have some of that. Wait a minute though, I'm not a crow. Surely the crow should be doing this, the crow that I'm flying with. But you're not crying here. I don't think you're flying with a crow, sir. You might be a bit confused. I think what happened here is that the narrator just said you were coming in straight for the bar as the crow flied. We didn't mean to say that there was a crow flying with you, so don't worry about that. We do have some pickled eggs here, though, if that's any use." And the cat says, "It probably is. Cats like eggs. Cats like raw eggs. Did you know that?" I did not. I'm a barman. How would I know about these sorts of things? Well, you could have been a barman who likes cats. Is that completely out of the question? For Christ's sake, use your imagination. The barman says, "If I had an imagination, I wouldn't be sitting here. But maybe I should try and have an imagination. Should I read some books or something? Maybe I'll read a Stephen King book." And the cat says, "Yeah, should. Here's one here. I just happen to have one in my fur. It's getting quite uncomfortable as it happens. It's lucky I wasn't in a real race between me and a crow, or I would have lost, I can tell you, because this would have put me out of my flight path. Christ's sake. You can't fly in a dead line, especially if you're a cat. If there's a 12,000 page small print copy of The Stand sticking out of your left wing, or whatever the equivalent of a cat's wing is, I suppose behind my hind oyster, I don't know, whatever you call it. I don't really know the terms for this situation because it doesn't really exist. It's all fictional. I'm not going to spend the morning creating new terms for a fictional event that's not going to last any more than another 3 minutes when we get to the 29-30 minute mark, not including closing theme tunes and anything else that's needed. So no, barman, I think we're pretty much done here. If you have anything interesting to say, sure, save it for the next Two Cats Walk Into a Bar story, because there's no point overdoing it here. We've covered science, we've covered the geography of Boston, New England, we've covered also, even did the thing about, what did we do? We did what about gifting a house horse with no mouth? What happened really with the parable of the loaves and the fishes and how it's dealt with in catering colleges? What happens when the whole world needs to tar an earth-shaped monkey with one brush, and for some reason some of them think it's a yeti? I think that's enough to cover for one podcast.